As we go over it, there's two puzzles in particular. So he talks a lot about Bitcoin. It makes sense if that's legitimately how he made his wealth. You know, he was a musician. He still lives in Los Angeles, but he was active in LA as a musician until 2015. If that's legitimately how he made his wealth, it would make sense how somehow, some way that would be tied into the solve for this treasure, being that he, you know, makes the case that he brings it up. And I think he, you know, one of the prizes in this box is a physical Bitcoin.
Two of them. There's 2 Bitcoin in there.
How do you know this?
Because I read the book. I read every page. One is the Caskius, which is worth more because of the material that's made with. And there's one other, just normal Bitcoin. They're both graded.
But I mean, if it's a physical Bitcoin, right now Bitcoin's hovering around 90,000. So it's at least 90,000 plus a premium of probably $10,000 to $20,000. So just alone, that if that's the only thing in the box, then you're looking at least $100,000.
I'm assuming the second one is in the lion's share.
He talks about Bitcoin. He talks about Ready Player One. He talks about like games, like learning from his grandfather. So like as I've read about this person, not just in the book, but outside and, you know, learn about his life, unless he's literally just toying with us, he says pretty clear he's not a genius. He's really passionate about a few things. And those are the things that he knows the most about and writes about the most. So throughout the book, he talks about precious gems and stargazing, Star Trek and 80s vintage electronics, things like that. You know, just looking into his mind, I can only forecast that some of those things have to somehow relate to the clues. The 2 puzzles in here is a word search and a cryptogram. Now, a cryptogram is pretty straightforward. It took me about a half an hour to solve. In the age of the internet now, no one cares to keep stuff to themselves. So you can literally just Google the answer to the cryptogram, and in 2 or 3 places people just put the answer out there.
I think it's important to note that we did not go to the internet to figure it out.
Yeah.
Eric actually solved it himself.
I want that credit.
I want to make that very clear.
He says that you don't even necessarily need the crypto quote. Like, just if you wanted additional confirmation that the place you're going is right, that you could use the crypto quote, but that you literally just need the word search. And I'm telling you, people of the internet, this word search has been dissected. What does it say in Ready Player One in Chapter 1? Like, as much as the Zapruder report. Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Yeah, as much as like,
and it's true.
Dude, I have this laminated in my backpack at work, and I'll pull it out and just look at it every so often, just to see if something else catches my eye, something I'm not seeing, some way to piece together. Because there's only so many words in here, and you know, people have found all the words, and then the leftover letters create an anagram, and that's really cute. And to be honest, some of the stuff that, like the fact that word search is in there anagrammed, I mean, it's pretty hard to unsee once you see it. But even with that, like, no one has, okay, Sherlock, like, now that you've made an anagram out of all the unused letters, like, where are we going? No one. Now, I'm telling you,
where are we going?
One,
exactly.
No one has an idea. Like, all the other boxes, tons and tons of people have actually gone boots on the ground, like, hunting to places where they feel really confident that, oh, it's at this, you know, it's on this trail, or it's up this mountain, or it's at this lake. No one has, at least not that I've seen, no one's gone boots on the ground for this, nor has anyone come up with a even plausible solve.
So I've seen people go boots on the ground, but every solve that I've seen is not
just
even
going
related to the word
outside
search
your
at all.
house, like, is not boots on the ground.
I forgot to mention, in each of the boxes, there's a commemorative coin that was made for each box, and it's different for each box, and it's like one side relates to what the box looks like. And for instance, like this one, the side of the box looks like the moon. It's got craters like the moon.
Looks like the Nevada
and so
desert.
This coin, this coin has those same craters. Well, on the other side, each one of them has like this, you know, weird line with a circle on each of the coins. And every solve that I've seen for this specific box relates to this coin and whether they believe this coin, you know, represents a state line or whatever it may be. But I've yet to see a good solve come from the word search, which is what Jon Collins Black says is the
You're
key.
absolutely right. So, like, you know, I'm not going to lie. I'm from Northern California. As soon as I saw the coin, I was like, oh, wow, that looks like the shape of California and Nevada with a circle around Lake Tahoe. That's, like, literally the first thing I saw. And, you know, countless other people have said the same thing. But, like, that's cute. Like, Tahoe's a huge place. Besides the coin, like, give me some evidence in the word search that would lead you to believe that it's there, considering the word search is how we're supposed to find it. And not one person has done that. Like, that'd be so dumb to have a 7-page chapter if all you needed was this. And even if, Okay, let's say he just said right away, it's in Tahoe. You know how long it would take you just to circumnavigate the lake? Just to walk around it would take you like 4 days, dude. It's enormous.
Yeah.
Let alone walking like off the trail in the wilderness, like for like aimlessly. Whether or not it's actually there, I speculate it's possible, but that's only if the coin were to somehow relate to the word search, and that would mean that somehow the coin were a map for all the boxes, which I don't know if that's true. I don't have any evidence because none of the boxes have been found. I don't have any evidence to believe that that's actually true.
I personally think that the coins are a clue for the lion's share.
Yeah, I agree.
I think my philosophy is, and obviously I have no proof of this,
until we find a box.
But I think, exactly, I think that the coin themselves, I think that he photoshopped each of the coins, and there's more on the coin than what we're seeing.
Like
in
you're
the
saying,
picture.
some stuff were photoshopped off the coins.
Photoshopped off it, exactly. So it was removed from what picture we're seeing. Yeah. And I think that the coins, and the more coins you have, the more clues you have to the lion's share.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because like now that I'm looking at the coin, it really doesn't even look like that's a physical coin. It doesn't look like, it looks like just a digital image. It doesn't look like a physical piece of metal.
Yeah, I personally think that's exactly
like fairly,
what it is.
Like there's lines that are missing and words that are missing. I agree, because that just and there's no, like, he doesn't really substantiate the purpose of the coin. He's like, oh yeah, I just put this collector coin that you'll want. Like, okay, I guess the box is pretty cool. I don't know who I'm showing this coin off to.
So Eric and I, like, we get on phone calls about this box.
It's our part-time job.
And Eric brought up yeah, exactly. It's definitely become my full-time hobby. But Eric had a really good point, and I think he's spot on. We believe that the boxes themselves are actually empty when they're hidden, and that there's contact information in them to reach Jon if you find one. And it would make sense, right? Because what other reason would you have to contact him if you found the box? He wants to know if you found him because he wants to put it out so that nobody else is looking for a box that's already been found. So I personally think that the box is empty with a coin. There's a coin in the bottom of it and his contact information, and that's it. And then you contact him, and then you get the contents of the box.
It's the only thing that makes sense, because there's no way to really run tests to know how waterproof these are. Every single one of these is out in the elements, unless it's in a cave. And even if we're in a cave, it's still going to get damp and wet, especially some of these cards that are worth $30,000. There's no way to know for sure if water could seep into the boxes somehow and, create mildew and, desecrate or, deface the value of some of this stuff. So it just makes sense that the boxes are empty. And, JCB said that he knows for sure, he's like with an extremely high degree of confidence that none of the boxes have been found. Well, how could you know that? If I found a box with $300,000 in it, I'm not obligated to tell anybody. The odds that I wouldn't, because there is probably a little bit of notoriety and something you could gain from being the first one to find a box. Like there, you could go on the the podcast tour and probably get like an appearance fee in a lot of places. That said, I think that it's really likely that they're just 2-pound empty boxes, and you get a meet and greet with the man himself, and he'll open a safety deposit box for you.
Eric, what do you think about the guy on the internet saying he found it and that it was stolen?
I think that's the most hilarious and awesome thing I have ever seen. I don't think that the JCB probably saw that one coming, but this guy reckons that he personally saw JCB hide a box, and then he went back and it was gone before the book came out. What? So fill me in on this.
Yeah, so he claims that he saw the box being placed, thought it looked
suspicious,
weird, like out of place, and then ends up like a while later getting the book, doing the solve, realizing that same box was in a place he had already been, went back to that spot. It turns out to be the exact spot that he says he saw it happen, and goes to it and the box is gone. And he claims that it was stolen by somebody that JCB knows, like somebody that went with him to hide it. And he is going berserk on social media. Like, he is posting every group that for this treasure that's out there. He's posting it all over his Instagram. He created an Instagram to try to reach out to Jon Collins Black. And he is screaming at the rooftops that he found this thing first and that he's been wronged by JCB's team and everything else. and maybe he has.
Wouldn't it be the
I don't
craziest
know.
scandal if it were true? Now, me personally, I'm out a
Yeah.
$45 book. Actually, mildly entertaining to read. You know, I'm reading it not.
I enjoyed it.
I'm obviously reading.
I
from
really
the
enjoyed
lens
it.
of trying to solve clues and stuff, but it was kind of fun a little bit. Like, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever read. Definitely had worse book reports. So like, I don't feel, even if I'm wronged, like, you know, I wouldn't be part of a class action suit if there were literally no treasure. I don't really care.
Well, Eric, I don't know if I told you or not, but I reached out to this guy on Facebook and asked him if he wanted to be a guest on our podcast, and he said he would.
That's
He said he would do it.
non-negotiable. This is happening. So this is happening. This is the next episode. What's his name?
Joshua James Lee
Joshua
is his name.
Okay, Joshua James Lee.
And he agreed. He said that he would be happy to come on our podcast. So I'm going to reach out to him and see what his availability
That's so
is.
exciting.
But I think we should have him on and let him tell us his story.
Like, I have no,
I don't know.
Obviously,
maybe he did
I've
find
got
it.
a few questions for him. I'll probably pick his brain a little bit. I would relish the opportunity if somebody is smarter than me and has been to multiple places where boxes were already. That, at the very least, I need to know, you know, how this guy's mind thinks and how he's able to get into this inside the mind of Jon Collins Black. At the very least, that's
I want to know what his
time.
solve is.
Yeah, like that's worth my time. So that's fun.
I say we bring him on. Let's bring him on. Let's give him a voice. If he really was wronged, then let's put it out there so everyone can see and if it really was stolen from him, hopefully they'll make it right. But I'd love to hear his story from his own mouth, because I've read the posts that he's put on Facebook and Instagram, but obviously I've never talked to him other than a Facebook message. And so I say we bring him on.
What a fun world that we live in. Like, because back when Forrest Fenn was doing it, it was just like an email. You could email him, I guess, but there wasn't really, not that there wasn't a platform to, there were chat rooms and, message boards and places, but it just wasn't like it is today.
We're excited. We're trying really hard. Eric and I both are like, we want to be as, Ready Player One. We want to be first to the egg. That's our goal.
First to the egg, dude. So we're going to be the first one to find a box. I don't care which one it is. And I don't care if it's empty. And I don't even care if it's meant to be empty and he doesn't even have contact information. I just want to be able to say that I read this book and I was the first one to find an empty puzzle box. Like, that would still be pretty cool. Like, somewhere in the world, I found the box. Like, that would be good enough for me. So
if you're not following us yet, give us a follow. Give us a like, because we're going to be posting videos of us when we are boots on the ground.
Oh yeah.
We want to show our, share our experiences with you, and I'm confident we're going to find a box. We're going to do it. We're putting it out to the universe. We're putting in the work.
It's not just. It's just I know it. Like, it's a thing that I can, I will, and I must find a box. Like, we are finding a box, and when we do, you'll get to hear about it. So we're not gonna be. I don't know how we'll have to work that out, like, tax wise, to not get screwed over once we do find one. But we will tell the world about it once we find one.
Absolutely, we'll share our experiences with you. You'll get to see us boots on the ground, and we're gonna go find one. We're gonna do this.
And this guy that thinks that he was screwed over by Jon Collins Black, leave us a question in the comments of something you think we should ask him when we have him on the podcast. But with that, thank you so much for joining us. As Christian said, go ahead and, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and click that like button, and have the rest of a wonderful day. And we are out.
See ya.